good evening. As always, we are just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and this is Just a Concerned Citizen with the Massalorian, and we are about to go live with all of you right now. All right, we should be live right now. Let's hope and pray. All right, looks like we're good. You pop this stream up, chat overlay. All right. I think we are in. Dr. Spurgeon, the Sturgeon Surgeon. Good evening, Prometheus. What's going on, man? Yeah, if you guys remember to hit the like button when you come in, that would be great. Great. Paul, how you doing tonight? AMC Panda, Mike, KYP, where have you been, my love? How you doing? God. Andrew, how you doing tonight? Dino Mike, Bill Bev DeVoe, a big butt and a smile. I'm lucky I'm smiling today. I had one hell of a day today at work. I don't know if I should save the story for tomorrow or tell you guys tonight, but one story. Almost became famous today. Almost. For all the right reasons. Hilsey, how you doing tonight? Michael 1, what's going on? Good evening. I am not late. BBD, I'm not late, bro. It is 10:02. We had a minute intro. We're good. Censored Content, good evening. How you doing tonight? Whatever I said tonight, I agree with. This is my kind of subscriber right here. Censored Content, you're my man. I love it. Let's see. What's happening just outside of Boston? Retail theft. Let's see. What else is going on? A lot of retail theft. Oh, I'll let you guys in on a little secret tonight about the numbers coming back from Home Depot. This should be kind of an indicator of where we're heading in the near future for retail sales and something that they call in corporate shrink, which is basically what they lose to theft. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. We'll talk about a couple things. Disney's put a halt, or at least they have decided to push back all of their major motion pictures. We'll get into that a little bit, how that's going to affect AMC. And something no one's talking about, but I think is going to have a major impact on supply chain issues, and that is the closing down of all of the major ports on the West Coast. That's now going on its third week, and no one is talking about it in mainstream media. So those are a couple things we're going to get into tonight. JT Wisco, how you doing tonight? Novocaine, good evening. Yeah, if you guys remember to hit that like button, that would be beautiful. Walt the Man in the Middle, good evening. Wayne, how you doing tonight? Sir Huddle Hot, Gorilla Gardener, Brian Carpenter, Backyard Biggie, howdy do. Food Dog, I know you want to become a mod. Remind me tonight to put you in, all right? Pam asked me the other day, and I just totally slipped my mind. We had inventory this week, so it's been crazy busy. 5:30 mornings. Yep, Hilsey knows. Yeah, Gorilla Gardener. We're going to talk about that tonight. But you're catching my drift. You're picking up what I'm throwing down. Zigzag Frasio Day. Love from Jamaica. Wonderful. I've been to Jamaica, man. I love Jamaica. What are the falls there called? I went to the falls. I can't remember what they're called now, but it was a while ago. I haven't been on vacation in a long time. Ben Herrick, how you doing tonight? Good evening. BBD, former... I didn't know that, bro. Okay. Nice. So you know what shrink is. You know, we did inventory this week, BBD. So I want to tell you about the numbers that came out of Chelsea, man. You're going to be blown away when you hear these numbers. Wayne, I got... Who else we got in the chat here? Yuka Frida, good evening tonight. Who is going to get spanked? Yes, Duns River Falls. Thank you, Zigzag. That's it. That's it. Hilsey, you want to be a mod? All right, remind me before I cough tonight. I'm probably going to go till about, well, we'll see when we get through all these stories and see what you guys want to talk about. Yeah, AMC Panda, Niagara Falls in Jamaica. That's it. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Oh, boy. All right, yeah, let me write this down so I don't forget. Because you know Mass. It might slip my mind if I don't write it down. But I did do some things you guys asked me to last time. By the way, I apologize for my early exit from the stream the other night, but the day before I was having some issues. And down here on my taskbar on the computer, I can pick from different internet connectors, right? So what I did was I had unclicked connect automatically. So when I cut myself from the stream the other night to try to reboot the computer, Restream just kept buffering and buffering and buffering. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I shut it down again, started it back up. I'm like, dude, I have no internet. So I couldn't even go in to, text or in the chat to tell you guys what's going on. So I apologize about that. That was not on purpose. P, how you doing? D, how you doing tonight? You here? All right. Nice, girl. I can't believe you made it. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit tonight about the next big story that I'm working on that's going to be coming in the next 2 weeks. So some of you guys might know I'm only here for 8 or 9 more days. And then I'm going to be working on a long story while I travel across the United States. And we'll talk a little bit about tonight what I'm going to be doing the story on. It's actually going to be like a mini documentary, I think. And I started shooting it last week. I had to go into the city to get some passport renewals. And man, downtown Boston was an absolute ghost town. I mean, there was nobody out. There was nobody in working. There were no tourists. And there was no one just milling around besides homeless people. Gorilla Godness says, Mash, you got to watch the Trump speech tonight. Now, he's brought up on how many? 3,700 charges, I heard? 3,700 federal charges? I don't know how he's going to possibly fight all those off. But I say just keep throwing shit at him. Something sick. It's amazing the way the media takes the story and runs with it. Like, this is unprecedented. We've never seen this before. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit. Of course we've never seen this before. Because this isn't the type of things that you do to a former president, no matter what, right? I'm telling you now, if they don't get him on this, they're going to have to kill him. They have no choice. There's no way they can beat him on the issues, and they can't beat him at the ballot box. The only thing keeping him from the White House right now is maybe Roe versus Wade. All right, so let me just write this down real quick. On the mod side, I got Hillsy, because I've lost some mods, so this would be good. And Food Dog. Yeah, Food Dog. Pam did mention it to me the other day, and I told her I promised her I would work on it, and I totally forgot. Yeah, Gorilla God. No, we're going to get into it tonight, man. I started shooting some B-roll the other day when I went downtown, and I'm kind of just planning out my strategy of working my way across the country, where I'm going to stop and start doing a more in-depth analysis of what are the actual numbers going on right now, because I don't think people understand what is coming down the road. And maybe I don't either, right? I'm just speculating here the best I can, but I think we are in for a major shock when we see some of these numbers. And we'll talk about it tonight. I do have a video clip that I'll play from a podcast the other night. You guys might find interesting. Actually, let me see if I can get that up right now. Did I bring it over here? Shoot. I don't think I did. All right, let's just continue with it, and then we'll come back and start talking about some of these issues. Let me just make sure I get everybody in here. All my shout outs. Hey, KYP, how you doing, love? Mask, they want your shirt. Take off your shirt. Oh boy. Maybe in a couple more weeks. I need to lose about 12 more pounds and I'll be in the shape that I want to be in. Brian says bald is beautiful. Thank God I have hair, Brian. But you guys don't think I have hair? I'll put it up. I got hair. It's really short right now because it's really hot here. Really hot. Yeah, Gorilla Garden. I definitely want to talk about that tonight. And I want to move. Like I said, I'm going to hit up a lot of cities on my way across the country. I was kind of looking at the route today, and I think I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to stop in New York or just go straight to Chicago. I'm not sure yet. G Immortal, how you doing tonight? Andrew, you've never had a beer? Is that serious? BBD says DeSantis is owned by Ken Griffin. Yeah, I'm not a DeSantis. I'm not the biggest DeSantis fan. I'll be honest with you. Right now, my favorite politician is Vivek, and he's not even a politician. But I wouldn't mind seeing him somewhere in administration in 2024. Maybe something to do with fiscal policy. I'm not sure, but I think he's very based, and he knows a lot about macroeconomics and geopolitics. He's my kind of guy. And then you guys all know I'm in love with Tulsi, but Gorilla Godness says, ever since I bought the dip, I've been holding for the crash. Yeah, well, I want to talk about that for a second, about the market. Let me pull this up real quick so we can show. Did I say hey to everyone? KYP says, oh my God, country. Just to do this story. KYP, I'm in Rhode Island right now. I'm right on the Rhode Island border. So I don't know if you guys know or not, but my buddy who I moved down here with that got the divorce sold the place that we bought in June. So I got to be moving on out. So I figured, what is a good way? Well, I was just trying to think of what can I do right now to maybe help some people and shed some light on some things going on. And I know with the port situation and everything going on with commercial real estate, I figured, why don't I take a road trip? And I'll hit up a couple cities. We'll see what's really going on the ground, boots on the ground. And then I'll end up on the West Coast, and maybe I can hit up some of the ports to see what's going on there. But we'll talk about the articles. Let me pull up the KYP. I'm just trying to figure out what, if I just get on a plane and fly out there, I accomplish nothing. If I take my time and, bus it and train it, because I'm not driving, then I think I could shed a lot of light on what's going on in the world. All right, let's pull up this share screen here. Now I'm going to put a timer on this setup so I don't spend too long on this subject matter. We're going to say like 10 minutes tops. Alrighty. So if you guys don't know, we got and the market is adjusting, but I think it already has figured out, right? We landed right about where we thought we were going to. CPI, Yahoo Finance, inflation rose 0.1% over last month and 4% over prior year in May. A slowdown from April's 0.4 month over month. Let's see if the core data is here somewhere. So they talk about the Fed's raising rates. Now, I guess we're expecting now 90% or upwards of 90% of market analysts believe that we are going to take a pause on rate hikes. So that will be interesting to see if that's already been priced in, which I'm assuming, because that information has we've kind of been getting little pieces of that coming out. Core inflation is what I was on. On core basis, which strips out the more volatile costs of food and gas, prices in May climbed 0.4% over the prior month and 5.3% over last year. Both measures were also in line with economists' expectations. It says here about, remaining sticky. Here's where this is really going to play into. It's going to possibly play out. The employment numbers are going to be interesting going forward because, again, the Fed right now is in a very position just based on the fact that the more they can continue to rate hike, I will not miss that. The more they continue to rate hike, the more these smaller banks are going to be in trouble. And even more so, I believe I saw the number was about 80% of commercial mortgage-backed securities are held by small banks. That is setting up for a fucking disaster. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is what it is. I'm not going to bullshit you guys either. Index decreased 11.7%. Food index again went up. I saw someone on Twitter the other day said that they got 4 ribeye steaks. I forget, from Costco or BJ's or somewhere. It was $37 in 2020. It was $48 last year. And this year, $93 for 4 ribeye steaks. Egg prices fell, which is nice. $1 a dozen just 6 months ago. And it talks about the market here moving a little bit, 3.7% up based off the Treasury yield. So I think the market has a lot of this priced in, as well as tomorrow. Is it tomorrow that we're going to get the possible pause? I believe so. Yeah, tomorrow is likely to be the first FOMC meeting since March 2022. Without a policy rate hike yet, with annual core inflation actually rising further in May and coming hot off the heels from a very strong jobs report. The July meeting is very much live. This added. So just something to keep your eye on tomorrow, guys. All right, let's see. Bucks and says they want the banks in, right? The sooner they get these smaller banks out of the way, the sooner they can start talking about an actual crash, depression, and the need for a central bank digital currency. Now, of course, that's just my opinion, but all right. I'm going to get to the comments, see what you guys are saying. Jana, how you doing tonight? Long time no see, love. Hope you're good. Let me get back here to where we were on the comments. CH says, I'm done with this. I like done with Trump. All right. Bill Biv DeVoe will have you eating the bugs. BBD, you still think Tulsi's wrapped too much up in the W? I thought I heard or read, or maybe you guys told me in the chat that she had denounced all of her affiliation with them, but whoever knows. Angelina, how you doing tonight? What's up, girl? Angelina, I'm heading your way. Just be aware. Grandpa Barney, you too. You're all put on notice. Yeah, I wouldn't mind this ticket. I could deal with this ticket. I think it would be good for the economy. Be good for my portfolio. Free Kekistan, how you doing tonight? No, buddy. No. I'm not built for politics. I can't. Some of this to me, What is somebody explain to me, what is the point of dragging these people in front of Congress if they don't have to answer any questions? If they can just skate, what is the point of even bringing them just to embarrass them? Or is this all just a show? I don't understand. No one has ever been for anything. So I find a hard time believing that they're going to start with the FBI and the DOJ now. Jana says, hey, Mass. Where are you, Jana? Brian says, no woman will run my life. I would let Tulsi run my life, I think, from time to time. Yukon Cornelius, how you doing tonight? I don't know why all of a sudden I lost everything. Hopefully it comes up. Nan Abe, how you doing tonight? Long time to see. Hope you're well. 24 the money. What's going on, my friend? All right. No one seems to be even really discussing CPI data, so I guess no one's really concerned about it. It's good. All right, then let's talk about, what are we on right now? 8 minutes? Yeah, Bucks fan, I agree with you. They do want the banks in trouble. But I don't think they can just squash them, right? They got to roll this out slowly. The CBDC has to be rolled out slowly, everything. Trevor, how you doing tonight, man? It's a donkey show. It is a donkey show. It's a donkey show in Mexico. Angelina says, what sell? All right, so I heard some people talking earlier today. While I was at work, I was listening to some of our fellow influencers out there, YouTubers, saying that they think that Ape's going to have a run if we start to see the judge getting close maybe to making a decision, and that she's going to be in favor of the settlement, that you might see Ape. So in layman's terms, if I was just Joe Schmo off the street and someone said to me, there's a good chance that in a few months or less than that, a few weeks, this stock right now that closed at $5 and this stock that closed at $150 will be relatively worth about the same after a certain thing happens. Which stock would you buy? I'll leave it at that. Don't take my advice. $24 the money says, Antara loading up on AMC puts. They are playing the downside game. By the way, I hope everyone got understanding the other night about that Ape wasn't created in 2020. You guys all get that, right? I hope. I saw people still today on Twitter saying, I can't believe Aron was making Ape back in 2020. Still. Like, it's been 7 or 8 days since that first story broke, and people are still repeating this shit. AMC Panda says, I like eating Vienna sausages. Whatever blows your hair back, bro. Whatever blows your hair back. It is Pride Month. By the way, what's up with the topless people at the White House? That was interesting, huh? What a transphobe. What's her name there? Karine Pierre. Unbelievable. She said it was disrespectful. She's got some nerve. Happy to see you too, Angelina. RB, how you doing tonight? Wayne says, I got a boatload of apes years long ago. That long-term gain. BBD. Yeah, I haven't actually seen a video, man. That's not, I didn't say that. I thought I either heard from the chat or somewhere that's what was said, that she had totally denounced it. Like she was one of the only ones who were part of that young leader. I mean, Elon's in that, right? Elon was one of those guys. There's more than you could imagine. Pete Buttigieg is one of those guys. Paul says, Antara selling or hedging with AMC puts. Whole 132 million 8 position. Good if they get it done before conversion. KYP says, felt bad for Trump, however. What is a cooter? I have no idea. Felt bad for Trump, however, if he just returned the docs, we wouldn't be here. Yeah, I don't I don't tend to be able to read his mind, KYP. I don't know why he wouldn't have just handed over everything. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, you know, he's the president, so he can declassify whatever he wants. And I've also heard people say that the FBI talked with his lawyers many times, and they said, just let us know what you want. And instead, they just went and raided the place. So I've heard both sides of the story, KYP. I just, you know, with this media, you never know who's telling the truth. It's why I continue to come out here and do this. One of the only reasons why, because I feel like at least I can deliver you guys a little bit of truth. And if you get value out of that, awesome. If it helps you in any way, shape, or form. All right. Now we're running on 12 minutes. Stop. Reset. All right. I'm trying to get this a little more professional, especially after last night, jumping off like that and not being able to get back on. Angelina says, Mash, you driving through ND? I haven't moved to Cali yet. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna be going to Chicago. I know that. I think via New York. And then I was thinking of actually heading through Colorado to San Fran, up to Seattle, and stop there. And then figure out a new game plan once I get there. Because I really have no game plan after that. Once I do this trip across country and cover these stories in these cities, I don't have a next spot. So Dave Massaro says, do you really believe the government? No, man. Not in the least bit. KYP says Congress is an absolute joke. It is. It's like no one is ever held accountable for anything. I don't trust the DOJ. I don't trust the FBI. And this isn't so much about Trump. I mean, they locked up the black socialists because they were anti-Ukraine war, right? And now I don't agree with the Black Socialist Party, but we do agree about the Ukraine war. And the fact that they locked those guys up is despicable. Don't think you can't be next. Good question, Ed. I don't know. I wish I could answer that. I wish. Lucy, how you doing tonight, love? Good to see you in here. I saw you sent me some Twitter tweets. I'm going to look at them when we get off tonight. Janice says, I don't like elephants on Capitol Hill either. Angelina says, really ape running. I'm not saying running. Just think, and this is how I've always thought. I always thought that the two would kind of mirror each other. And at some point, we get back to that. Because at the point of split, they were almost identical in price, right? It's just speculation. Janice says, I just want court, and now it's taking too long. I know. Smith, how you doing tonight? Smith says the yes and the no's are fighting like Dems and Republicans. Makes me want to bail on this play. Oh, I hear you, man. I know. It's frustrating, right? Because at one point, we were all on the same page, had the same mission, and now it seems like we're split, like almost right down the middle, right? You got one group of guys who are completely anti-Adam Aron. Now, I'm not going to say that they're anti-AMC, right? Because I think a lot of them are still holding the stock. So, yeah, voice your opinions. I want to hear all sides of the story. And maybe there's things that I'm missing that I can pick up from someone else's perspective. So I'm always down to hear the other side of the argument, right? That's why I had Mike on the other night from Owning the Float. I wanted to hear what his side of the story was. Why does he feel this way? But ultimately, like I said, we're fighting, 9 different devils in 14 hells. And we have been for years now. It's not just Adam Aron. I understand he's a major player, a major figure in this whole thing, but there are outside forces that are working against us constantly working against us. And AMC to an extent. I mean, they tried to drive the stock price into the ground and bankrupt them, like the other theater companies. Right? So it's not just those all things I think we could still agree on, right? And whether or not you believe there's billions of synthetics out there, I don't really care what Adam Aron believes. I really could care less. And to be honest with you, I wish they would just play the whole audio recording instead of just putting in snippets all the time. Just play the whole thing. Let everybody hear the whole conversation so we can know exactly what was said, what was the pretext to what was said. Cutting out these clips is something the mainstream media does, right? So if you really want to make a case in an argument, I would say play the whole conversation. Let's play it. Come on and have a discussion about it and let the audience decide. KYP says, Mass, I don't care. AE is an absolute crook. I hear you, girl. You're not gonna hear me crying for AA for any reason. He's taking care of himself very well. And he's kind of left us out hanging from time to time, right? All right, so I guess that will probably bring me up to my next subject. And I don't be bearish or bullish. It's up to you guys. But I'm going to read the article. Hang on once. All right. So this is from let me make this big. Down for 1 sec, guys. All right. We should be good. All right, if I disappeared for a second, my bad. I just reloaded the stream for a sec. Okay. And put this back up. My apologies. I'm going to make sure any hotels I stay in on this trip have internet service. Good internet. Stay calm. All right. I'm going to try this one more time. Here we go. Pop up the screen. Come on now. All right. I might have to read this to you guys. I don't know why it's not popping up. Disney major delays every blockbuster. It says has finally hit Disney. The media giant shifted its release calendar, moving several Marvel movies back and delaying all the Avatar sequels by a year or more. But there was some more good along with the bad. So take this. Disney added a new Star Wars movie to their schedule as Dwayne Johnson. The article continues. The writer's strike is yet to with a 2023 release date, but starting next year. So we're talking 2024 here, guys. There will be quite films that studios tend to put out quicker. So we know in the very recent past, like back to back Marvel movies, Marvel shows, you name it, right? All right, hang on 1 second. All right. The writer's strike is yet to affect any movies with a 2023 release date, but starting next year, there'll be quite the gap between films the studios tend to put out a little quicker. We were ready for a new Avatar movie. Supposedly, they had been finished but along with everything else getting pushed back, we might not see Avatar 5 now until 2031. So they don't say anything about, 3 or 4, which is good, right? So hopefully those haven't moved at all, but we won't know until we get some more information here. So it goes in, talks about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So here's the bit about Captain America Brave New World, which was supposed to be released on May 3rd, 2020, just over a year from now, will not be out till 3 months later, July 26th. Blade is getting pushed back from 2024 to 2025. Fantastic Four, same story. And these are being pushed back an entire year. So the ones are an entire year pushed back. Venn Dynasty will now be May 1st, 2026, and Secret Wars will move from May 7th, from that date to May 7th, 2027, with Deadpool. They also have some news here about some of the Star Wars movies that are getting pushed back already. We just got the announcements weeks ago, and they're already saying they're going to be delays. And here's the Avatar news. Okay, so it does have some news on 3 and 4 here. We all breathed a sigh of relief when Avatar: The Way of Water finally emerged 10 years after its predecessor, but now it looks like we'll have to wait a little longer for Avatar 3, 4, and 5. Most of the movies on Disney's list have been delayed due to the writer's strike. Avatar movies were already finished, which really, this is like the biggest news to me because of how well Avatar 2 did. All Star Wars movies as much as Avatar, right? Because but we thought most of the Avatar, well, before he even released A Way of Water, that he had finished filming most of Avatar 3 and 4. So here we go. This is from John Landau. Film is exciting but epic undertaking in DORE in December of 2025. So, which was set to release on December 20th, 2024, has been pushed back a complete year and a day to December 21st, 2025. So, not the best of news, right? Not the best. Now, it shouldn't have immediate effect on AMC prices because most of the things that we're going to be talking about and, the movies that we're waiting to see revenue on right now, I've already been shot. They've already been written. They've already been edited. They're ready to go. We have audio now. Tell me you guys can hear me. I know. Andrew says the one time his picture works, we can't hear him. Good? Oh, thank God. That might have been the end of my career if that sound didn't come on. I might have just said fuck it and been done with YouTube. I really might. That might have been it for me. That might have been the final straw. Might have been it. God damn. Well, okay, so what I was saying was, I think Smith said, you know, what are your plans? And I said, you know, moving out of the country. Look, if I'm out of the country, then I can't stay in the fight, right? And then I feel like I'm running. But I was just saying that I think that the way that I can best help everyone out there is to just continue to bring facts and truth to the best of my ability with a little speculation sprinkled in. But like I said, getting boots on the ground, making this trip across the country. Let's go see, like, what are we talking about here for closures in retail space? Like, are we going to have a major crash in commercial backed securities? Is retail really on its way out? Is brick and mortar done? Or is there possibly a way to fix this? Or are we going to have a turnaround? I just want to be able to show you guys what's happening in places maybe where you can't be and that the media is not reporting on, right? And I hope that's what I can give to you guys. Food Dog says, we thought you had a Monica under the desk. I'd give my left arm for Monica right now. Oh, no, you got to be kidding me. I can't. Guys, please don't mess with me. If you can hear me, please don't mess with me because I'm gonna lose it. You guys can hear me loud and clear? Floyd says, don't give up. I'm so close, man, to breaking. You have no idea. No idea. Like, I'm so close just unloading my entire portfolio and saying, forget it. But we've been this too long to walk now. All right. Thank you. Yeah, please don't mess with me. Unless you want to see the mic go through the monitor. Okay. Let me just talk about this thing real quick. It could have implications on, like I said, supply chain issues and maybe some retailers out there. This article is from June 2nd, 2023. It's 11 days ago. All right. See if I can make it a little bigger for you guys. So in case you lose volume, at least you could read it yourself. All right, here we go. Like I said, this is from 11 days ago. West Coast ports are shutting down as union workers no-show after a breakdown in negotiations with port management. The Port of Oakland was shut down Friday morning due to insufficient labor for terminal operations, a stoppage that is expected to last at least through Saturday. I can tell you, not come to an agreement yet. I know they've been asking for the Biden administration to step in and squash the labor unions, just like they did with the railroad workers. That possibly could be a huge issue for this administration if they do intervene here. Let's see. A source close to the situation told CNBC the port shutdowns are expected to spread across the West Coast as a result of lack of sufficient labor as workers protest over wage negotiations and contract talks with port management. While the actions taken by workers are not a formal strike, the source told CNBC to expect stoppages at other West Coast ports, and I can confirm now that that has up and down the West Coast, with operations also reportedly stopping at Port Hub of Los Angeles, including FINTECH Marine, the APL Terminal, and Port of Hunemane, which processes automobiles and perishables. So just keep that in mind, right, as we're thinking about the stock market. The situation remains fluid, with truck drivers being turned away at Los Angeles sites, and we are now on day 11 of this. The stoppages came at a time when activity at West Coast ports had picked up again after losing volume to the East Coast ports due to concerns about the volatile labor situation. And there's a quote here. It says, given the increase we've seen in business over the last couple of months, we are optimistic about a stronger second half of 2023 for the amount of cargo moving through Oakland, said Port of Oakland Maritime Director Brian Brandeis. We also anticipate increasing the number of ocean carrier services offered at the Port of Oakland in the upcoming months. And right now, they are not working, which means there are ships that are waiting offshore right now to be unloaded that have not been unloaded. Any port closure creates backups that impact both the pickup and drop off of products by truck drivers. Keep that in mind towards the stock market. Truckers also had a work stoppage related to the AB5 legislation in California covering classification of truckers as employees. A stoppage which lasted for 5 days, but took 2 months to clear up. At the Port of Oakland, over 2,100 trucks go through the terminals each day. So now, let's multiply that out. You're talking about 22,000 trucks that have not left the West Coast just out of Oakland alone in the past 10 days. Not good. And no one's talking about it. No one. I don't know why. All right. Dr. McLovin says we need Trump back ASAP. I don't even know if he can fix this, Dr. McLovin, to be honest with you. We got major problems right now. People are being underpaid for some of these more dangerous jobs. Like we just saw, and then if the administration cracks down on the labor unions again and the port authorities, it's just going to be a mess. They just did it. They just did it to the railroad workers. Not even 3 months ago. They squashed all of their. They squashed all of their fight. You guys are all over. Should I just throw a porn on? Would that make you guys happier? I feel like that will get the conversation really going. Jersey Recycler says it doesn't fit the government narrative. Right, but I mean, just think about how this is playing out right now. So 22,000 trucks just alone haven't left Oakland. Now we're talking about Los Angeles, the same thing, Seattle, Portland, San Diego. I don't know if it's gone that far south. I didn't see San Diego listed there, so I'm not sure. Mike says Biden can't step in right now. He's getting a root canal. Yeah, what is that bullshit, right? How is it possible he had to cancel all of his upcoming events for the next, what did they say, 2 weeks for root canal? Come on. Give me a... Jersey Recycle says, all the government's concerned about right now is Pride Month and Trump's indictments. Yeah, man, and that's all the mainstream media cares about, too. I mean, look, take this information for what it's worth, but you're probably about to see prices go up again this next quarter. And let me tell you guys what I learned today at work. So we had our inventory that was done between last night and today. Now, since Home Depot went corporate, and I believe that was 1978. There has never been a store that lost over 5% in shrink, which means from total revenue of the year, no Home Depot store across the country has ever had more than 5% of items lost to theft. Basically theft, pretty much. Shrink is just another word for retail theft. There are other ways you can lose product, right? But that's really, in 2023, that's what we're talking about. Just last month, the Chelsea, Massachusetts Home Depot had 10% of shrink. For the first time ever in the history of the company, they actually, and let's just take a roundabout number and say the store did 50 million. You're talking about $5 million just out the window. And it was funny because with they subcontract a team to come in to do the numbers. And so it just happened today that there were 2 loss prevention officers there who had came to help with inventory. And I'll finish this story tomorrow, but let's just say it got pretty exciting around 2 o'clock this afternoon. And I have some pictures and video too. So, but let me say this. If there was ever a quarter to short Home Depot, they're going to have, I think, their first year in 40 years that they're not going to have a year-over-year return and, a higher profit margin than 2022. And if those kind of numbers are going on, I can only imagine what some of the more, let's say, liberal cities are losing. It's got to be off the charts. Got to be. Dino Mike says, sign of the times, unfortunately. Yeah. Just take that into consideration when you're looking for Q2 earnings coming out and how that price is going to move. This is going to be one of their worst quarters ever. Believe it. And that's not financial advice. That's just a little insider scoop for you. And if you guys remember to hit the like button when you come in, that would be awesome. Or, well, if you're leaving, you're probably pissed for some reason, or my sound's gone down, or I've lost video. So hit the dislike button if it's really that bad. Janice says all the companies are making record profits and they don't want to increase the dock at all. Right. I know. They don't want to pay the people who are working some of the hardest possible jobs, right, Jenna? 100% agree. Dana says Biden has no real teeth to canal. You're probably right, Dana. He probably doesn't. Andrew says Vegas wins the Stanley Cup. Talk about a party. Yeah, right. They'll burn that city down. First championship. Yeah, AMC Panda, armed guards at the doors. Man, if you had seen what happened today, I can't wait to tell you guys the story. I can't wait. The audacity and the nerve, just the vocalization, the conversation, or the yelling that took place between the thief and loss prevention was astonishing. I really thought I was going to get fired today because I threw my 2 cents in, which I typically wouldn't do. But I know my time there is short. So I took full advantage just to fucking lay into this guy. And if you guys see me tomorrow afternoon coming on doing a live stream, you'll know that they let me go. Fan says this coming great your precious on purpose. Yeah, this is a systematic controlled demolition of our entire way of life, as far as I can tell. It's not just the economy, it's everything. Everything's being polluted and poisoned. They're polluting young children's minds into believing that they can be whatever the fuck they want to be on whatever day of the week. They're doing some horrendous surgeries to kids right under our noses, right here in Providence, in Boston, right up the street. They're cutting off, you know, normal body parts of children, turn them into Frankensteins. I wouldn't suggest you go on Twitter and ever look up. I should put her name in the chat right now, but she somehow gets her hands on these pictures, and oh my God, it is so traumatizing to see what they're doing to these kids. And they're kids, right? Most of them, they're kids. Food Dog says, Dana, you'd be done in 15 minutes and snoring. Mike says, not in Florida. Yeah, I heard not in Florida. That's good. That's good, man, because they're destroying these kids' lives. They really are. It is so messed up. I mean, they're taking healthy flesh. So I've seen a couple pictures of how they're making these phallical, I don't know what you would call them. It looks like a tube steak. It's not a tube steak. It looks like a hot dog with the skin tied at the top. And what they're doing is they're taking muscle and some of the nerve and cutting it out of their healthy flesh on their arm, like this part of their arm here, to make a shape like that. And then they're going in and using stitching. And I don't think you can even like urinate through it. I have no idea to understand how it works, but to see what they're doing to some of these kids is quite disturbing. Just the guy today on the lawn of the White House that had the girl that had her breast cut off. I got to be very careful because they just shut down like all of Daily Wire's channels for misgendering someone the other day. So I have to be extremely careful. Not that it matters anyways, really, with this channel, but this isn't really a money-making channel. But still, I got to be careful. I don't want them to totally take me off the platform. Batar Enibish says, are you planning on talking AMC? Man, we talk whatever you want, Batar. What are you thinking? I've been talking about AMC for 3 years, brother. 3 years. You might not believe this, but Mass is AMC'd out. I'm still holding strong, though, with you guys, but I am AMC talked out. There's a lot of evil shit going on in the world, man. It's not just in the stock market. It's just not with Aron. Again, we're fighting 19 devils in 24 hells. I'll just keep raising that number. There's just a lot going on, man. So, yeah, I talk about AMC a lot, right? I probably devoted, I don't know, 80% of my videos to just pure AMC. But I would love to hear what you have to say. If you have something you want to talk about, bring it up and let's talk about it. He says he has a great idea. All right, let's hear it. No Way Hose says, this country went to war over dumping some tea in the water. Today we just sit here and worry about what we can and can't say. I know. I was just there yesterday. No Way Hose. I was just there yesterday, right at the Tea Party ship. I was telling you guys I was going in town to get my passport renewed. I walked right by the Tea Party ship, and I thought about that for a second. I was like, geez, I'm like, just think, 260 years ago, they were flipping out over a tax in tea. It started a revolution, a rebellion, and look what's going on right now. Mike says it's simple. Keep the kids out of it. Agreed, Mike. Yeah. The problem is, and you guys know, right? I played you guys this video clip the other day. Some of you guys are still asking, why is this going on with the Bud Lights and the Targets and Starbucks and all these companies? I think we played the clip the other night for you guys. The very simple answer to this, why this is happening. Just in case you forget. Or if you didn't catch the live last week, I'm going to play it one more time.
you have to force behaviors, and at BLACKROCK we are forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming class are women. We added 4 more points in terms of diverse employment this year. It's just, you have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's not recruiting, it is development, as Ken said.
How do you force change, though? I mean, Larry, BLACKROCK has really been in the forefront of the ESG movement within corporate governance and a real leader, and yet change is so slow. So what is, and Ken as well, how do you force change when it is so incremental and so gradual? How do you do something more radical? Have you thought about that? Has the board of American Express thought about more radical things we could do to enhance diversity and inclusion?
Because it has to be imbued in the culture of a firm. It has to be talked about, it has to be shown. Behaviors across the entire firm in every region have to be similar. And every citizen of the firm has to understand what is acceptable behaviors and what are unacceptable behaviors.
So there you go. In case you guys don't know who that is the CEO of BLACKROCK, who have $10 trillion in United States assets right now. 10 trillion. Somewhere between, I heard, 15 and 50% of the total GDP of the United States is held between BlackRock, State Street, and who's the other son of a bitch? Big firm out there. Help me out, chat. BlackRock, State Street, and someone else. Shit. I'm drawing a complete blank now. Of course. Food Dog, you don't know how to batar yourself? Thank you, PM Righteous. Thank you, brother. He got it. Vanguard. Here they come. No, BBD. Susquehanna's up there, but they don't. They're not that big. I heard someone trying to guess the other day what BlackRock's total assets were, and I heard people throwing out numbers like 500 billion, 300 billion, 700 billion. No, 10 trillion between those 3 entities. So they hold a lot of sway, and he just came out and said, we are forcing these behaviors. We are forcing these behaviors. They are pushing this on the American people. And to me, it's a spiritual war. It really is. It's evil versus good, in my opinion. It basically comes down to that for me. And, you know, as long as that fight's going on, I'm going to keep coming on here and talking about it. I just refuse to back down and be bullied and censored and pushed around. They want to demonetize me, fine. But as long as I have the platform up, I think it will do more good. At least I'm going to try. Doc says, with the words of encouragement, don't worry, things will only get worse. Doc, how you doing tonight? Chopper 3068 says, Trump 2024, burn it all down, let's start over. Look, Trump sealed his fate, I believe, when he came out in that debate. I heard Tucker say it the other night. When he went out in that debate and said that they lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, that was the day that they made up their mind and said, ooh, this guy's way too dangerous. He might be establishment, but he is not deep state. He's not deep state. And they're going to keep pushing this. They're going to have to either kill him or lock him up, because I don't think they can beat him on the issues. Again, what are the Democrats going to run on in 2024? Please tell me, what can they possibly run on? They have fucked up everything since COVID came around. And I blame part of that on the deep state, because we were sending money over to Wuhan to do these experiments on very dangerous, viruses that I don't know if they were released on purpose or not, and I'm not going to speculate on that. I don't know if that was on purpose to start the destruction of the West. I don't know. But Larry Fink and BlackRock and these guys are trying to use this ESG to push an agenda, and that they're using it as a Trojan horse, in my opinion. They're saying this is for social good, but it's really just to make money. It's economic. The economic part of it is being Trojan horse by the social. Billy said, could Ryan Cohen just sell the 10 million shares of GME next week, or would he get in trouble for that? I think he has to disclose that ahead of time, Billy. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. Dana says, Mash, you could read the phone book out loud for all I care. I'd still listen. Thanks, Dana. I might try that one night. See if I can break 100 on the live stream. 100 people listening. Jenna says, I don't think little children would choose an arm phallus like they're pushing in little grade school. Yeah, right. I mean, would it be weird if I walked in the doctor's office tomorrow and just said, hey, do me a favor, doc. I just want to cut my leg off from the knee down. Well, what's wrong with it, Mass? Nothing really. Just, I don't think I should have two legs. Would they go and cut off? Would they take it off just because? And I'm a grown man, right? I don't have to answer to anybody. But would they deform me on purpose? I don't know. Listen, there's a lot of money in this. Do not forget, when you make this transition surgery, you're talking about years, and they're having all kinds of complications because they have no long-term studies on the effects that these are going to have on young kids. They don't know what Lupron's going to do in the long run to a young kid. They use that for chemical castration for sex offenders. They have no idea how it's going to affect an 8, 10, 12-year-old. So the people who are saying that are fucking liars. Oh, this gets me fired up, dude. The kids is the one thing that really bothers me. Bucks fan says, yeah, me too, Bucks fan. Off with their heads, right? I mean, goddamn. If January 6th was the best we can come up with for an insurrection, we're in big trouble. Because that was a complete flop. I don't know if did I show you guys the tweet I put the other night? Someone was saying something about, let me see if I can just put the picture up. Hold on. Hang on one sec. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. Peter Anderson says, Mass, AMC said in their 2022 June filing that any investor should expect to suffer severe loss and price irregularities due to an unfounded theory about price manipulation in the stock. That's not FUD. June of 2022. So what was the price in June of 2022 of AMC? Okay, so between June and August of 2022, we ran from about $13 up to $25.46. So, yeah. I would say they were dead on with that. That was a pretty good assessment. We ran up from 12 to, we doubled almost, yeah. And then came back down to $5 where we closed today, right? I would say they were right. PM Righteous says they are satanic, period. I agree, man. It is just some crazy, crazy shit. Alan says, whoa, what is this? Where can I get the link? Go watch Matt Walsh's documentary, Alan. That was pretty eye-opening for me. And there's a certain fellow on Twitter she's got all these insiders who are sending her pictures of some of these surgeries and the way they are skin grafting and all this kind of stuff. The way that they're sewing people up, stitching up these transgender kids. It's just horrendous, man. Horrendous. BBD says Sri Lankan pool party. I don't even know if half the people might know what that is, BBD. I remember. We can have it right at Larry Fink's backyard, right? Oh, man, I'm way behind the chat, guys. Sorry. I'm going to try to catch up. Chopper38 says, get a Rumble. Yeah, I'm going to do that before I hit the road, Chopper. I'm going to sign up for Rumble and get an account going before I go on this road trip to some of these cities that have never really recovered from 2020. I'm going to do that. That's my next move. That and someone said I got to push my Instagram because a lot of people are watching on Instagram. So I'm going to do that too. I guess I have an account. I didn't even realize till today. Someone texted me and said, you have 13 followers on Instagram. How come you're not posting anything? I said, because I got 13 followers on Instagram, probably. Peter Ennis says, Dana, don't forget Jimmy Dore, Joe Rogan, Aaron Mate, Max Blumenthal et al. Those are all some of my favorites, Peter. By the way, man, I hope I had this open that I wanted to play for you guys. I've been dying to hear your reaction to this. I was even thinking of doing a full live stream just on this video clip, but let me see if I can watch it with you guys real quick. Hang on. Because I'm curious what you guys think about this. I hope this goes through. I hope this works. Okay, guys, let me see if I can pull this up and share it with you. Hopefully we don't lose anything.
Faster than the speed of light, because that's what they would have to do to get here from another galaxy, and I'm not saying that they couldn't do it. I'm not saying but they would be able to figure that out, but they would still not know how to they could travel at the speed of light. They could basically defy the laws of physics, because that's what they'd have to do to get here. But then they couldn't land. They didn't know how to land their spaceship. That doesn't make sense to me. But, okay, so here, in a statement to dailymail.com on Tuesday, the Department of Defense spokesperson Sue Go said, to date, AAR not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist. So they're still officially denying it. Now, that guy I saw on Joe Rogan's, that Lazar guy, he talked about how they were trying to reverse engineer. Like they have this, that's the whole point of having the craft, try to reverse engineer it, figure out how it works, and they came out. And that they have this thing, this energy source that creates its own gravitational field. We don't know how to do it. We don't know how it does it. Stuff like that. Grush, who served in Afghanistan and national, the claim comes days after Pentagon chief admitted unidentified metallic orb UFOs have been spotted all over the world. So they've been admitting to this lately. Like I remember maybe the first or second time I was on Joe Rogan, he was talking about how he had just had this pilot on from the Navy who was credible and said that he saw these UFOs, and they acted in a way that no other plane could ever act. So that's why he thought it was extraterrestrial. And I said, I'm no doubt they've been, ever since they invented planes, they've been seeing that stuff. Pilots have been seeing that stuff, and they've always discounted it. So why now? Why now would the Pentagon start admitting it? Why would they admit it back then? Why would they let these guys talk so openly without doing character assassinations on them? That was my question to Joe Rogan. And because I think they've always, like this guy said, it's been 8 decades long they've known about this stuff. Yeah, I know. So why now would they start letting these pilots go on Joe Rogan? Why? And then they confirmed it, a lot of it. And here we go again. Why now? And now there's going to be a congressional hearing. The House of Representatives to hold hearings on whistleblowers' UFO claims. So I told what my theory was at that time, 2 years ago, whenever that was, last time I was on Joe Rogan. My theory was they got to find a way to spend more money on the military because they're going to end Afghanistan war. They probably doing these wars. And now I thought it was just so they could build up a space force. Well, they did. Didn't Trump start a space force?
Right.
Trump started a space force. And I'm like, well, that's what this is all about. It's about money. That's why they would finally now admit it, because they're so corrupt that they'll even use these secrets to try to spend money, your money, on their corporations to do whatever they do to keep us safe from aliens. And then I found this video. I just found this video today. Leah McCullum tweeted this out. With all the UFO, from February 11th, he tweeted out, discourse. Remember when KRUGMAN suggested, so watch this.
Boston's big dig was just fine after.
Think about World War II, right? That was actually negative social spending, and yet it brought us out. I mean, partly because you want to put these things together. If we say, look, we could use some inflation. Ken and I are both saying that, which is, of course, anathema to a lot of people. And
so he's talking about how to get out of a slowdown in the economy, and or what, I don't know what he's talking about, but he's talking about at this point the economy needs some inflation. That's what he just said, and he said that sounds an anathema to, and I'm pretty sure that word means that sounds like horrible, right? That sounds like the opposite of what people would want. That's what he just said. And so why do you want inflation? Why? What's going on?
In Washington, but is in fact what the basic logic says. It's very hard to get inflation in a depressed economy. But if you had a program of government spending plus an expansionary policy by the Fed, you could get that. So if you think about using all of these things together, you could accomplish, a great deal. I mean, if we discovered that space aliens were planning to attack, and we needed a massive buildup to counter the space alien threat, and really inflation and budget deficits took secondary place to that. This slump would be over months. And then if we discovered, whoops, we made a mistake, there aren't actually any space aliens.
So we need Orson Welles, is what you're saying.
No, there was a Twilight Zone episode like this in which scientists fake an alien threat in order to achieve world peace. Well, this time we don't need it. We need it in order to get some fiscal stimulus.
So that reaffirms my original theory. And that came from a partisan hack who has a Pulitzer Prize for
I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about this. So please chime in and let me know what you think of what he just said. That makes fucking perfect sense to me. The scariest thing is that guy actually said, KRUGMAN actually said it out loud, right? He said the quiet part out loud. And the fact that he even said, but we wouldn't be doing it for world peace. We'd be doing it to save the economy. I remember I was sitting on my bed watching that the other night. And when he put his hand up like this to his mouth, I fucking almost rolled off the bed. I wouldn't put it past this government. Listen, the CIA probably killed JFK and Marilyn Monroe and Robert Kennedy because they wanted to put the clamps down on the military-industrial complex back in the 60s. I don't put anything past this government. Project print more money. Exactly. You heard him say it. You heard him say it. He said, with the threat of some type of invasion, along with a Fed policy of printing more money, we'd be out of this in 18 months. Fascinating. Oh, man. That's how I feel. I'm like, wow, did he really just say that? BBD, I had to share that clip, man. I know it's kind of corny running that, but I want to see what the reaction was from you guys. Just, does that make sense, or does that sound totally nuts to you? Ellie, how you doing tonight? All right, Ellie's the first one I'm going to pop up here. It says, I definitely think the government is beyond corrupt, trying to... Everything, Ellie, right? That, well, I mean, you would think they would use this type of a thing to unite the world against a common enemy. Let's say it was some type... And here's the thing. Again, and Jimmy made a good point. Why is it these guys have figured out some way to travel hundreds of thousands of light years across the galaxy, which we are in the infantile stages of any type of space travel? We can barely get out of our own way. How is it they can't land the crafts, right? Is it possible that we're crashing the crafts? I don't know. But again, the thought that you would use it to stimulate the economy or to save the economy or to just print more money to hand over to the military industrial complex is just, I wouldn't put it past them. Maybe 10 years ago, I would have said, no, there's no way the government would do that. They wouldn't do that to the American people. There's no way, no way. Now, I have no faith in these people. None. That wouldn't shock me at all if that was their main objective with this. Ryan says, if they want to print more money, start to squeeze. I'd be glad to sell it 100,000 a share. I'm with you on that, Ryan. I'm with you on that. Peter says, most of the main investors and defense contractors are companies. Exactly right. BlackRock, Blackstone, all these guys have heavy, heavy positions in Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and GE and, GM. Because again, why all of a sudden, why aren't they trying to assassinate? Remember, when Lazar first came out, they were trying to discredit him left and right, right? They said he never worked at Los Alamos. He never went to MIT. They said all kinds of crazy things, right? To try to discredit him back then. Why now? Why is it now they're finally admitting, well, why are all these whistleblowers coming forward? Because I'll be honest with you guys, I know what you're hearing in the mainstream media is telling you that Ukraine is just crushing it on Russia. That is not the case. Anybody who's truly following what's happening on the ground knows that Russia has achieved almost all of the objectives they set out to achieve. They have basically captured the Donbass region, which is Donetsk and Luhansk, I think, are the two territories. And that's what they set out to do. They wanted to fortify some more of Crimea, I think, and take some more of the southern, basically to lock Ukraine out of the Black Sea. And they have done that. And so now, if you go look at aerial or not aerial, but if you look at imagery from satellite views right now, the Russians have already cut off the area that they want, and they have now started to fortify it like you would see in World War II. They got spikes up for armored vehicles. I just saw the other day, I posted on Twitter, they've lost half of the German Leopard tanks that they had ordered to them, that they had sent to them, and they've lost half of the Bradley fighting vehicles that they've had sent to them. Ukraine is in a war they cannot win right now. I think it's like 7 or 8 to 1, the amount of soldiers that they're losing. Ukraine to Russian soldiers. So this war is not going to be going on much longer. I don't think Ukraine, listen, especially if an anti-war guy goes to the White House, you can forget it. He can end the war in one day. Like Trump said, I'll have it over a day. How does he do that? Well, we cut off funding to Ukraine, and guess what? The war's over. Because without us, there is no war. NATO's not doing shit. It's America that's sending all the money. So I don't think we have a lot more time. And I don't think the military-industrial complex has anything lined up next. They possibly could. But to me, this makes the most sense. Unfortunately for us. I know I lost a lot of people with the alien talk, but I just think these things are good to talk about. Beverly says our politicians gave our money to Ukraine. Yep. Yeah. And so if we shut off the spigot, the war was over in probably weeks. Maybe not days, but within a few weeks, a month. And I hate to say it, but the mainstream media is lying to you guys. Just go look at aerial photographs. Look at where the defensive lines have been set up by the Russian military. They got trenches dug and spikes so that vehicles can't get over them. And some of these trenches are too wide for vehicles to even get over. So they are setting up for and settling in for a long fight. And I don't know if Ukraine has it in them. All right. Lucy says, if we get invaded by space aliens, our government will give the snap. Isn't it amazing that Eric Adams came up with $4.3 billion for migrants? Where did he get that money from? $4.3 billion. New York City is becoming the armpit of the country, an absolute shithole. But they came up with $4.3 billion for migrant benefits. If I was anyone who was disenfranchised that's been living in New York for the last 30 years, I don't care what color, race, or creed you are, I would be fucking bullshit. I would be bullshit. James Harris says, Ukraine can't win. We get in more. It's World War III. I hope not. I would hope that the military, that the soldiers would just say, we're standing down. We're not going over there to fight this fucking proxy war for you guys. Sorry. Not doing it. Not doing it. Not doing it. We lost how many? 5,000 military professionals over the course of the Iraq-Afghanistan invasion over a bunch of lies. Now, granted, I understand terrorism needed to be, I understand, bin Laden was evil and Al-Qaeda was evil, but we're supporting Al-Qaeda right now. And don't forget who created Al-Qaeda. We did. We created Al-Qaeda. Pat M., how you doing tonight, man? I'm kind of going off on a tangent. I lost a lot of people. We were up to like 120, and then it dropped all the way down to 88 when I put on the alien stuff. But I think it's interesting to talk about. Yeah, Beverly, $5 million payout from Ukraine, right, for Burisma. And I heard something on Kudlow the other day, actually, getting back to the market. They were saying that this whistleblower, the guy who has the tape conversations, he was looking to launch a Burisma IPO on the NASDAQ. And that's how this whole thing got started. And now he's coming forward because he feels threatened. But that's how this ball officially, according to the whistleblower, got started, was because Burisma wanted to issue an IPO, and they thought that if they had this tribunal out investigating them, they wouldn't allow it to happen. The regulators would say, no way, there's too much fishiness going on, we can't allow that. And Dana says it's got to be laundered somewhere. Yeah, it's going on. You guys see the news the other day? There was a bunch of Chinese nationals that were arrested, I think in Southern California, I believe, or maybe outside of Vegas. They were in this big scheme of laundering money from the cartels back to China and then back into US dollars. A big, huge ring. And the reporter said to the local sheriff, he goes, "Where are the feds on this?" And he goes, "Ma'am, I wish I had to answer that question." The feds are too busy with their heads up their own asses, getting hauled in front of Congress for going after everyday American citizens. This shit makes me sick. Oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy. Yeah, Jen, I was just saying when I first came on, San Francisco is going to be one of my stops. I'm going to be going to San Fran. I'm going to hit like 4 or 5 cities on my way across the United States and really get a good look at what are the cities like right now? Like, has anyone recovered from COVID? Are we ever going to get people back in these buildings, or are these businesses gone forever? Talk to some people, some locals. Instead of just getting on a plane and flying to the West Coast, I'm going to take my time, go across the country, and hit some multiple spots. Janice says they'd rather have an alien invasion instead of a MOAS. I know, right? I know. Peter says, tinfoil hat theory. Reason for food shortages is they had to stockpile for Christie's run for president. I can't believe that. More pointing his finger at Trump. Oh, God. Guy's disgracing his own state. Suderman says Krugman is part of the deep state. He's the worst economist in the world. Socialist warmonger, if that's possible. Satanic as the days are long. I don't know if he's a Satanist, but everything else there fits pretty well, Suderman. I'm with you on that. POS, you could put at the very end. But again, it almost makes too much sense, right? Doxino says, aliens heard rumors of Lou's droopy breasts being 15 miles long. They came to see. Oh, boy. JP, how you doing tonight? Peter says, the world has grown tired of our military adventures. When they stop buying the newly issued bonds, you'll know the end is nigh. Yeah. Yeah. Lizzie, how you doing tonight? All right, guys, I'm trying to get caught up in the chat. I'm sorry. Sith Lord says, where would this stock be if there was no ape? Oh, man. That's why I put that in the title tonight. I just want to see fucking ape disappear forever. I don't want to see APE ever again. Look, this is the way I look at it right now, Sith Lord. I am praying that that this reverse split and conversion goes through, and we see, along with a few other things that we need. Listen, CTB is back up again. Utilization is up there. We got a lot of the dynamics that we need in order to replicate a short squeeze, right? We got some of the things brewing again. So maybe this, along with a great Q2 earnings, the addition of popcorn and everything else that's been done, can put us up over the top before dilution happens, right? So I can't say what's going to happen or what could happen. I could just make a guess, but that's what I'm hoping for. A combination of things, and maybe if there's some kind of, big black swan event or something else in in correlation with that, we could possibly see a MOAS, right? I'm still holding out hope. What is that noise? Okay, back to the chat. Andrew says, been in NYC my entire life. Worst it's ever been. Yeah, Andrew? Andrew, if I come down to NYC next week, would you show me around some of the bad spots? I'm not going to be packing, so I definitely would need to be with someone else. Bucks fan says it's like in the movie Winter Soldier. Hydra has infiltrated every institution. Hail Hydra. I know. Marlon, you missed the alien talk. You got to go back, brother. Go back. I just talked about it for like a good 30 minutes. Gorilla Gardner says, Mass, it's good to hear you spitting truth. I try, man. I try. I really do. I don't like to bullshit you guys. Especially if I don't know what I'm talking about. Data says, Mass, maybe you should care about color, race, and creed because I know how I'm identifying when they were my reparations. Oh, man. It's so funny. I randomly at work sometimes just scream out reparations. I don't know why. It just comes out of me. People look at me like I have 10 heads. Where are my reparations? Yeah, I need to move to California and hit a tanning bed before I go. Ellie says, with all the homelessness here in Los Angeles and San Francisco, we have better use of funds. And absolutely, Ellie. Yeah, of course. Of course. The American people should always be taken care of first. This is our country, after all, right? We are voting these people into positions of power in order to make legislation that's supposed to help us. Not Ukraine or economic migrants, because, again, with these people are running away from crime and everything. You can't run through 10 countries and say, oh, I'm running from oppression or I'm running from violence. You can't run through 10 countries to get to the 11th and then come here and say, I'm seeking asylum from, violence in my country. No, that were the case, you could have gone right next door to where it is a lot better, right? You don't need to come all the way here from wherever it is you're coming from, because there's people coming from all over the world. So let's not just act like it's Latin America and South America that these folks are coming from. They're coming from all over the planet. It's Chinese nationals. It's Ukrainians. It's Russians. It's I think Savannah Hernandez did a report from down the border and said she saw like 13 different passports from 13 different countries in one day that she was down there. So the whole thing about these people are running away from crime and crime-ridden areas. No, they're coming here because they are getting handouts from the United States government. They're staying in 5-star luxury hotels in Chicago. That's probably going to be my first story when I leave here. I'm going to go right to Chicago. I want to see what's going on in Chicago. That's the first thing I want to do when I leave here. Thomas B., how you doing tonight, buddy? Good to see you, man. 84.32 it is, baby. You know it. I'm going to sell one share when we hit that price, Thomas, just for you. 1796 Patriot says, so what have I missed? I'm late. My apologies, man. We talked about a lot tonight. We're rolling up on the 2-hour mark right now. But I'll be honest, 1796 Patriot, we got into aliens a little while ago, and I lost like 30 people out of the chat. So Be prepared if you go back to listen to the replay. James Harris says, sad it was so nice even 10 years ago. Yeah, I know. 10, yeah, James. I was there even 6 or 7 years ago, and I had a great time. I stayed down right around the corner from Times Square, went and did a bunch of touristy things, went to the not Smithsonian, to the Met, and walked around Central Park and all kinds of stuff. I had a Lou type day. I walked around New York all day with a camera and a phone. Yeah. I had an actual Lou versus Wall Street vacation. It was really cool. Carl J says, come go fishing here. I'll take you bass fishing out of Santa Cruz saltwater. Carl, you're in Santa Cruz? I'm definitely in. I've already talked to a friend out there who's a nurse, and I think she's going to take me around San Fran for a little bit. Jana says we love the alien talk. Not everybody, Jana. I'm on yesterday's comments. Sorry. How far down am I? Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys. I'm way behind. Oh no, not that bad. Not that bad. Let's see here. Lucy says SoFi is doing great. By the way, I do have a stock I want to talk to you guys about. And I'll probably put in the video I'm doing about retail tomorrow for tomorrow night. But I'll give you guys a clue. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Hold on. I'm not going to tell you the ticker, but I'm going to show you the bill, and you tell me why this would be interesting. If I have it. I might not put a bookmark on it. I might have just saved it over here. All right, never mind. I'm just saving that for the video. Beverly says, so the stock market is run by AI and all the talk on AMC is snail mail and postcards. Yeah, Beverly, I don't know. I saw something the other day about how much the C-suite has sold as far as their shares go. I don't know. These type of things were never in my game plan when I bought AMC, right? Originally, they just weren't in the cards for me, right? I wasn't taking any of this into consideration because I didn't know any of this was going to happen. So for me to sit here today and say, oh, I can't believe I bought this stock and they were selling when we knew they were selling, right? We were able to see their filings. So we knew this was happening. This didn't come as like a big surprise to anyone. I don't know. I don't think that I don't necessarily agree with it. I think it's a shitty thing to do when you're, when you're the CEO in a struggling company that retail helped bail out. I don't like you profiting off that, but I can't act like I didn't know what was going on while I continue to hold, right? That I just had blinders on and wasn't even thinking. Lizzie says, doing great at the lake on the Starlink. Nice, Lizzie. You're hooked up to Starlink right now? Oh, man. Where's your lake, Lizzie? That's where I need to be. I can see you in your avatar picture. That's awesome. No internet before. Good. I'm glad you're here then. BBD says your house is on fire. Can you guys hear that? I don't know why I held up the headphones and asked you that. I should have went like this. Okay. Mass is tired, man. The last 2 days were long days, 5:30 to 6:30. 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. So I'm wiped, guys. And we're about to roll up on 2 minutes right now. 2 minutes. Fuck, I need some rest. 2 hours. Thomas B says, if you ever come to Houston, Mass, my wife and I have 2 kids. We'd love to put you up for a film. Oh no, I'm not looking for anyone to stay when I'm coming. I'm gonna get some hotel rooms and try to stay down the city, right? So I really get a feel for it. But thank you, Thomas. Says we have a 5,000-foot home with a few extra rooms. Yeah, if I end up in Houston somehow, Thomas, but Texas is doing rather well, I guess. Although I wouldn't mind coming down there to see what's going on with the migrant situation. Doesn't really fit in with my story, but I guess I could always do 2 stories. But thank you very much, man. That's very, very generous of you. Appreciate that. Janet says, we will give aliens gender surgery too. I was saying the other night, Janet, can you imagine if the aliens came down and literally said, take us to your leader, and we brought them to fucking Joe Biden? Holy shit. They would just probably walk into the White House and give the signal to attack, whatever that would be. I don't know what it would be, but release the hounds, right? Dana says, that's my horn. I'm outside the house. Yeah, they're not going to blow me up. If anything, they're going to take me down. Sith Lord says, if it runs out, I voted no 6 times. I received only 3 out of 6. I saw someone just posted today. I think Tony, he's still getting postcards now on what, June 13th? And he hasn't even gotten all of his yet? Yeah, Sith Lord. I did the same thing, right? I have 3 accounts just in case something happens to one of them. In case they Chris Angel the buy button, right? Yeah. Scott Gray says, if we let AA sell 100 million of the 500 million that he asked for. Yeah, Scott, don't even bring me there. Look, that was pure greed back then. We didn't realize how good we had it, right? And I gotta take some blame for that. For 2 reasons. One, I was sitting here telling you guys to hold, right? Because I was. Oh, I wasn't telling you guys, but I was recommending hold, right? Because the news had come down that they weren't going to dilute, excuse me, until 2024, right? Or the end of 2023, whatever the years are just fucking, you know? But yeah, I mean, that was a lot of greed on my part saying, don't you dare dilute. And yeah, looking back, hindsight now is 2020, but maybe I should have taken a different tone with that, right? Not that it would have affected anything, because back then I only had like 1,000 subscribers. So not that it would have made a huge difference. Not that any of this makes a huge difference, but looking back, there's some mistakes that I gotta take. I gotta live up. I gotta answer for, right? And accept that I was wrong about dilution back then. Maybe that would have been considered good dilution, like he kept saying, right? So, but I hate thinking about that, Scott. I do. Matix says, so many great plays in the market right now. Yeah, I'm going to talk about a couple of them in this next video, Matix. One that I think is amazing right now at the price it's at, when you know the legislation that's coming, that I bet none of you guys even know that it's been signed into law already by Congress. This is going to be a trippy video for me to make, but I got to make it before I leave. Beverly says these politicians are selected, not elected, except for Beverly, the game show host, right? The game show host was not selected, and that's why they are trying to nail him to the cross. I mean, think about it. We voted in a game show host because we were so sick of everything else that had come before it. 8 years of Obama brought us to a fucking game show host. It's incredible when you think about it. And as Jimmy always says, the most popular podcaster in the world announces men fighting in cages. So who'd have thunk, right? Gorilla Gardner says, you thought this was our country. It's their democracy. Yeah, I know. BBD says the deep state exists and they can do what they want when they want because we allow them to. It's why they spend so much time and money dumbing us down. It's why the liquor store stayed open during COVID and the marijuana store stayed open during COVID and the casinos stayed open during COVID and they printed money. And where'd that money go? Right it back up to the 1%. Except for the shares I have in my account right now that I've been holding for 26 months. God damn, 26 months. San Diego Laundromats, how you doing tonight, buddy? Says stop in Los Angeles, downtown Skid Row, complete travesty. San Francisco, definitely San Diego Laundromats. I will definitely be there. I know you're having the same issues down in San Diego. I've seen some of the bridges underneath the 5, like once you get out of downtown and start heading up towards La Jolla. I've seen some of that, like right by the airport there. It's crazy. When I was going to school out there, there were homeless people down at the beach, right? There was a couple here and there, but not like I'm seeing now. I mean, they got tent cities popping up all over the place. It's crazy. Lizzie says, well-dressed with nice clothes and haircuts. Who's that? The aliens, Lizzie? They just landed at the lake? Siren Muscle says, last night on YouTube, live video of all countries coming here at Yuma, Arizona. Seen it myself. Unbelievable. Wait, one more time. I must have read that wrong. Last night on YouTube, live video of all countries coming here at Yuma, Arizona. Seen it myself. Unbelievable. I'm not sure how to interpret that, Siren Muscle. Peter says it's been 30 years, but Madison and Pacific Beach was always nice. It's a shame, laundromats. Yeah, it is a shame. Mission Beach, that was my place. Yeah, MB. That's where all the, hotel workers and bartenders, that's where we always went to go hang out. Mission Beach, Pacific Beach, and now it's like Slumdog Millionaire down there. David says, go Padres. Oh, boy. Verbena, Alabama Lake, Mitchell. Oh, that's where you are, Lizzie? You down in Alabama? Okay, cool. That must be nice. That must be nice. Peter Anderson says, shout me out if you get to Michigan, brother. I will. I don't know if I'm going to get up to Detroit, but I'll definitely be heading to Chicago. I think that's going to be my first stop. Either New York or Chicago. I haven't figured it out yet. Lizzie says, do Airbnb, Mass. So, Lizzie, I kind of looked into that, but I don't think I'm going to be staying long enough at any one place, and I'm trying to stay in the cities, right? So I can get up early in the morning, go down, shoot B-roll, and then have time to do interviews. Because, like, everything that went down in Washington, D.C. when I was down there trying to cover the SEC thing, it just got so crammed, right? I didn't have time because I was rushing around trying to get from one place to another, and I wasn't settled, and I need to learn from that mistake. Gorilla Godness says, I got my second postcard yesterday. Yeah, they're still coming in. Lucy, this guy with diamonds, said, that's a great point, Lucy. So here's the thing, right? If they're real, if the aliens are real, why would they risk sending themselves through these risky, types of travel forms? I mean, we can basically almost create a synthetic. I mean, look at what we can do, right? We have the technology now to grow ears on the back of mice, and with Neuralink and everything they're doing now, why would you actually physically try to send yourself somewhere if you could send something that represents you, right? So that makes sense to me, the no sex organs things. I get that. Because I think that's what we would be sending. Okay, guys, we're running just over 2 hours right now, and honestly, if I wasn't so wiped out, I would stay on longer with you guys and talk. But I'm really, really tired. I gotta go do it again tomorrow. A couple more days at work, and then I'm done. Then I gotta start packing, breaking down the studio, putting stuff in storage, and getting ready for the trip. So, and then we can talk about where I'm going after the road trip. You guys can come up with some ideas for me. Maybe we could brainstorm in some good places, or a story I can go cover for, a couple months. Lucy says, Massalorian just saying, Judge rules Binance can operate as usual. No freeze on assets. Okay. Good. I'm glad they're giving some legitimacy back to cryptocurrency. My buddy keeps asking me about buying a Bitcoin. Said I will wait a little bit. Let's see where this market is headed in the next 6 months. Because listen, guys, after this next rate hike, after this pause and the next rate hike, I don't know what the market's going to be taking a bullish position on. I don't know. So I would say prepare for the worst. Not financial advice, right? All right, guys. I'm going to head to bed. I really got to get some sleep. Love all you guys. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys hanging in with all the bullshit and the sound problems and everything and the alien talk. I love all you guys so much. Thank you. To my mods, thank you for taking care of my chat tonight, even though I have the best audience in the world. I appreciate you guys. And yes, thanks for stopping in and talking with me, guys. Anybody who donated tonight, thank you so much. That means, everything to keep this thing going. Pay for all this software and crap. It's really nice of you guys to do. So thank you. All right, guys. Have a great evening, and I will see you in next 48 hours. Love y'all. Have a good night. Oh, I need a nap. I need some rest. All right. Am I done here?